All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another episode in this long-running series called the Fliplogic Real Estate Show. So I'll be your host, Ryan Kirk, and we're going live here from the top deck of my boat in Marina del Rey. And I've got a lot of great things to cover with you this evening. One particularly is a live $40,000 assignment fee on a deal that I just did. I just contracted and I sold it, and it'll be closing this week. It'll be closing on Friday or Monday. And so that's what this is. This is a 1 hour Q&A format where I take your questions and answer them in the order that they're received. So you can get them into the Q&A chat box there in the control panel. And we'll go 1 hour or until all questions are exhausted. All right, cool. So looks like everybody can hear and see me okay. So I'm actually going to switch from what we're looking at now to a live screen share there. I think you can all see my screen now, so we're good to go. Cool. So obviously just submit your questions as you have them, and we'll do it. So this deal that I want to talk about this evening, this one it's actually in Garden Grove, California. And this lead came to me from a real estate agent. So it's off market. It's not on the MLS. The real estate agent sent it over to me. I'm sure he sent it over to a number of, other investors and people that he knows. I saw it. I jumped on it because, asked him what the asking price was, $452. So once we added the lead into the system, it populated, beds, baths, the size of the garage, the square footage. It's 1,200 square feet on a 7,400 square foot lot built in 53. There's the APN number. So those are the things that it populated, right? And down here below, you can see I put in the effective contract date, the EMD due, which is earnest money deposit, the amount, the contingency period when it ends, and our closing date. Under the public records here, you can see the name of the owner. There's actually 3 owners, and they're 3 out-of-state owners. You gotta love a vacant, rundown, ugly fixer of a property that needs rehab, because those can typically close the fastest. It's nice when it's vacant because that just means it's ready to close anytime. So we're actually doing a 10-day close on this. The agent gave it to me, gave me what their asking price was, $452. Immediately, hit the green button here to run and pull comps. So we've got some comps here, and you can see, Zillow said 583 with a high of 612. Redfin estimated high of 760 with an average of 664. Obviously, you can't go off these numbers. These numbers are just that. They're just numbers. You really need to go off of 2 to 3 sold comps to support the price, because a property is only worth as much as a buyer is willing to pay. Isn't that right? So if that is the case, we got to know what buyers are willing to pay in the area. We've established that by the comps that were pulled. You can see these are the comps that were automatically populated. And then we manually went in and just copied and pasted this address, this one, and this one. We were just looking around, Zillow and Redfin, because it's nice to see what else is sold and maybe cross-reference a few other platforms like that, just because not every platform will have every comp, or at least suggest every comp. So use the ones that were populated. We deleted the ones that we didn't want or weren't applicable. And then obviously you got to check mark it if you want it to be included on your CMA and in your marketing email. So, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. So moving on to the analysis, we established the ARVs probably 650 because of the lot location, even though there was 670 comps. It's not, there's a little bit of street noise. It's near Costco, which is, it could be a plus or a minus, right? It's just in a pocket near commercial. Again, that could be plus or minus, but we supported it at 650. We determined for the repair costs that we were going to be closer to, and if I actually click here in the pencil for the price per square foot, I get a little cheat sheet here. So I actually went with awful because it is awful, and it needs, I put in about, 60,000 or about $50 a foot is what we went with. And the reason why we went with a higher, higher than like your a full rehab plus new roof can be somewhere around $33 a foot. We went with 60,000 or $50 a foot because the home is a 2-bed, 1-bath. It really needs to be a 2-2 or even a 3-2. You could reconfigure the floor plan. You don't have to add square footage. A 1,200 square foot home, you can reconfigure to be a 3-2, but you're going to have to move some walls around, and you're going to have to spend a little more money than usual, to establish a new bathroom and a new bedroom area, within the floor plan. So there's going to be some additional costs to that. So we, instead of going $33 a foot, we added some extra. And so that puts us, instead of 50,000, we're up at 60, and it's just a ballpark estimate. So that's where we're at. We changed the holding time from 4 months to 3 months. It's a really hot market. Things move really quickly. And then I did remove the defaulted, typically 80% of the purchase and repair costs. We've got that defaulted as a leverage amount, a loan amount in there, just 80% with a 10% rate. It's typically standard in the rehab market. We also do hard money loans. We lend hard money. We actually just had a hard money loan close just recently. I think it was Friday, actually. It just closed on Friday. So we do lend hard money as well, and 80%. We can do 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab, but 80% gives a good budget. 10% rate's pretty standard when you consider points and interest rate. But in this area, lots of cash buyers who don't need to get hard money or who are willing to do it all cash. So we removed the hard money costs and just zeroed it out. And so a 10% ROI, which is usually what investors like to shoot for. They like to make 10% return on their project. And then you can see if they turn it in 3 months, right, that's a quarter, right? If they did that 4 times a year, that's a year. So annually, the ROI of 10% on this project would turn into 40%. And then if they leverage, their cash on cash will be much higher. And you can actually see what that would be when you generate a profit analysis. So I won't go into that right now. So we'll just move on. So with that being said, 10%, that put us at $495 for our max rehab price. So I know we're good. Our initial cash offer would be $436. Our max $477. Seller wanted $452. They said they had somebody else, another offer. So we said if we come in at $455, pay all the closing costs and close in 10 days, can we agree to move forward? And they said yes. So that's what we did. We made the offer, $455, 10-day close, non-contingent except for a clean title report and seller disclosures. And then as soon as we got the deal, we blasted the deal out. So I just go to marketing. Before we did the blast, obviously put in a property blurb, a little marketing blurb, which is being loaded right now. Turn my hat around. I think the lighting's covering up my face with the shadow. So put in a little marketing blurb, right? Here's what it looks like. And then obviously put in a subject line, off market, easy fixer, 495 ask, 649 ARV. Pretty simple, right? Nothing too crazy there. And then in the blurb, I just let folks know, hey, it's walking distance to Costco. That's good to know, right? The comp across the street sold as is for 600. It was like a partially remodeled, you know, something where the seller had improved their bathroom and like maybe changed out the flooring in a room. So it was funky. It still needed a full remodel, but it sold for 600,000. But there was an ARV a comp that had already been remodeled, rehabbed, that sold for 672. Yes, it was a 3.2, but it was the same size. I think I even put that in the blurb. Same size square foot and lot, right? So if they can reconfigure the home to be a 3.2, they have the possibility of an ARV of 672. You know, I conservatively put it at 650 because, you know, like I said, a little street noise, less desirable area for the lot, but that could be argued either way, right? But the street noise definitely will play a factor. As you can see, all the numbers here, they moved right over from our comps and our analysis work that we did. It automatically populates right there. Investors, they get this email. And as you can imagine, when I went to do the find buyers, which I've already got a big list, I blasted it out, literally had phone calls, emails very quickly, and had the deal sold same day within a few hours for the 495 number. Buyers always come in wanting it for less, trying to beat down the price. Stood my ground, got the 495, 455 to 495 on a straight assignment is $40,000 like that. It's, you know, I don't have to pay any closing costs or fees because all of the closing costs in the deal transfer to the buyer since I assigned it. So I'm not buying as is, selling as is. I literally did a straight assignment, and you can see what that looks like with escrow. When I instructed escrow by email to draw up that assignment or that amendment, they draw it up. So I tell them, you know, the new name of who to change it to. So they change it to the new name. I sign, they sign. The seller will have to sign. It doesn't say what my fee is on here. My fee goes on the buyer side of the HUD, so the seller doesn't see what I make, or if this was your deal, what you would be making. They just see that the names are changing on the contract, and they have to agree to it. There's no reason for them not to. There's nothing else about the deal that's changing. We're just changing the name on it because it's my partner who's obviously closing on it, or my investment partners. And that's that. So with that being said, I will slow down here and see if anybody else has any questions or, you know, any leads that they want to cover. And I know William says he put one in the system. It's on the MLS. And I think William wanted to cover a lead of his. Well, let's see what that looks like. Sorry, William, I just got to find the address. What's the address on it? William, what's the address on it? Is it your South Orange? So William put this lead in there, and sorry guys, my headphones got disconnected. Why don't I bring William on? William, are you in a place where you've got like a quiet background where I can put you on so you can tell us a little bit about this as we're walking through it? So, William, I think I unmuted it from my side, so you should be able to, I think, unmute it from your side.
Okay, can you hear me?
There we go.
All right,
yep,
perfect.
We can hear you. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, all right, William. So tell us a little bit about your lead here.
So it's a single family, but it sits on an R2 lot. So you have two plays that you could do with it. You can rehab the single family, and or maybe knock it down and or add onto it to create an additional unit because it does sit on an R2 lot.
Okay.
The lot size is about behind the wheel. The lot size on that. That's not the right one.
It's 5998, almost 6,000.
Yeah, almost 6,000 on it.
Okay.
Which from a development side, developers usually like to be, of course, over 5,000. So that definitely works. So yeah, that's what I have so far. It's 1365 square feet.
Okay. How much are they asking for it?
They're asking 675.
675. All right. And here's some comps. You've selected a few. So from a rehab standpoint,
based on the photos that I saw that were online,
yeah,
it's definitely a fixture that does need some work. One of the rooms looked like it has mold on the wall, so I know that needs to be probably removed and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I'm thinking I might have priced it low on the rehab side. I think I said about $40 or $45 a square foot. It may need to be increased, but I'm not. That's sometimes where I lack to be sure on that particular number.
So let's take a look. I just wanted to make sure we had all of the good comps that fit or that they're selected. So we've got one here for 950 and 835. I'd like to see. And again, we're at 2-1, 1365 on a 6,000 square foot lot. So this lot's, it's about the same size. The lot's a little larger. It's pretty close. I'm going to just select it just to see how closely that one will fit. Again, we're at 1365. This one here, it looks like we're easily going to be like in the 8s. This is 38. Let's see, 1365. About the same size. So 1365. All right, so let's see here. Obviously, LA, things change as you cross over major boulevards and head up. Like north of Washington, I don't know, it's gentrifying so much. Definitely south of Washington is, and then west of La Brea is definitely things to pay attention to. You've got 1.1 down here. What was this 1.1? And you got 1.1 there. So that's a pretty good comp, and that just sold too. I'd like to dig into this one and see, is this like a duplex or something?
The house itself?
Yeah.
No, the subject property is a single family.
Let's see. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to wait for that one to populate. But I'm going to just, what were you thinking for the ARV?
If you did it as a single family, I think I was at, what are my notes at? I'm trying to remember what my notepad said. I think I was at like 885, 890.
Okay. Let's see here. How bad a shape is this place in? I'm gonna open this up on Zillow, see if there's any photos there, since you said it's on the MLS. Okay. So yeah, it's a Spanish style, and I think the other photos are loading here. Once they do, we'll have a pretty good idea. It keeps calling. Yeah, it's very charming. I mean, it's a good looking home. I'm just waiting for these other photos to load. And I'm going to say, I don't know, I actually want to look up this Alsea Avenue.
Oh, yeah. That Alsea Avenue, that's the other one I put in there a while ago?
Well, it's a comp.
Oh, okay. Because I have one that I put in, have one that I put in there from Alsea Avenue. It's kind of interesting because we offered, I guess a side note on that one, we offered 600 on it. She said she was going to put it on the market at 605, and she was trying to get 650. But I think, 650 is out of our wheelhouse on that one. So I want to go back and revisit.
This is 675. So here's the one on Alsea. It's also south of Washington Boulevard. So this is in the same neighborhood. And this was a flip. You can see this is all done, and it's a 3-2. So I think, and let's see, in a second standalone unit, front unit and a second standalone unit. So I'll have to see what that looks like. And my computer is just moving slow here. This second standalone unit is why this one sold for $1,086,000. I wonder if they converted the garage into an ADU, an additional dwelling unit. If that's the case, then and it's kind of style is this? We'll find out as soon as this opens up for us. But this may be one that we could use as a comp. Obviously, the repair costs go up in order to hit that, do the ADU and renovate this 2-1 into a 3-2. But let's just kind of see what that looks like if we turn this into like $100 a foot. And we went with the higher ARV. And we turn the holding time into 6 months. And we'll leave the leverage in there. Our rehab ROI changed to 15% because, you know, we're over $1 million ARV. So, and plus if typically if people got to go heavier and longer on the rehab, then, you know, they obviously want to make up for it with a higher ROI. But with that being the case, it does put our max rehab at 718. You know, let's call it 720. And did they say they're asking 675? Is that right? 675. Did they say? I mean, they just put it on, right? A few hours ago. You still there, William? William, did we lose you? May have lost William. So that's kind of what I'm gathering. The approach, and it looks like it's just like your standard. It's all outdated. Outdated. Looks like maybe mold and what have you. I mean, you're going to probably need to gut this all out anyway. And because of the age of the home. Okay, so now that we see all of that, and the pull-through driveway with the garage in the back, and obviously in Los Angeles, everybody's converting these garages into an ADU. I think they call it an accessory dwelling unit or an additional dwelling unit. So what I'd like to see is, let me see, beats a driveway, beads a driveway. I'm not sure, or needs a driveway. Yeah, that driveway is, I mean, you might need to resurface that for sure. It looks cracked from here. What I'd like to do is look at this comp. I wanted to look at it over here. Can everybody still hear me okay? I think we just lost William. I think that's what happened. So everyone can hear me, but we lost William. I'm going to back up because Redfin's kind of frozen. And I'm going to look at that comp on Zillow. And basically what I want to try to determine here is what kind of style, which it's not Spanish. And I want to establish if they converted the garage into the additional dwelling unit that they're talking about in the description here. Because it says it's completely remodeled. Backyard is shared with single landlord occupant in back studio. So we'll wait for these photos to populate, and we'd like to see, they did a nice job on the remodel, didn't they? We'd like to see if the back unit, everybody is doing these not everybody, but I've noticed definitely a trend in the darker kitchen cabinets or the lighter kind of bluish Daphne blue kitchen cabinets. And sometimes they do like a mixed color, like a different color upper. They don't have any uppers here, if you notice. Scrolling down, I don't see a garage. Do you guys? It looks like this was the garage. And it looks like they turned that into the additional dwelling unit is what it looks like. So what I'd like to do, one parking space, it says. So I think that's what happened. I think they converted the garage into an ADU. And so now it's just driveway parking, driveway and street parking. So that's what it looks like to me. And one other thing we could do is we can look at an aerial. So I'll take a look at the aerial. So I think this is the street here. This is the lot. Doesn't look like there's any alley access. So I think yeah, that was the garage, and now they just turned it into an ADU. So we could do that with our subject property, and everybody's just street and driveway parking now with that. So with that being the case, one other thing I want to look at is how much did the investor, sorry, I should probably close my email. How much did the investor close that? No. How much did they pay for it? So they paid, so you can see it sold last year, September, for $650. So that's what they bought it for, $650. It was listed, went pending in 2 weeks, and then sold a week later. And then it took them from September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. It took them 7 months to relist it. They wanted 1195, so it took them 7 months from closing to relisting. And then once they relisted it, it went pending in 2 weeks after they reduced it 100 grand, 2 months. And then it sold quickly thereafter. So could probably change our holding time, I guess, from 7 to, I guess, 8 months. William, you back?
I'm back. I'm sorry. I got lost.
You're back.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm going.
William's back? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
So I increased the repair costs. Maybe it wouldn't be $100 a foot, you know. I mean, I could definitely see it. I mean, you're gonna have to convert the garage into an ADU, and then you're gonna have to reconfigure the home. You're gonna have to do like a full gut remodel.
Okay.
To change it from a 2.1 to a 3.2, and then do the ADU, and then you can get $1,086,000 for it. The investor who bought that home last year, the comp last year, he paid $650 for it. You know, maybe did the seller, have you talked to the seller or the seller's agent? Did they indicate, you know, what they want for it, or what they're willing to do?
Initially they seemed pretty lost.
They
because
seemed pretty what?
When I gave her just like rough, I said initially she seemed kind of lost when I initially spoke to them. And I said, hey, well, you know what? You know, I want to get you a fair number, so let me go ahead and just run some numbers, and get back with you and see what we can make happen. But where are we at? Are we asking around 623?
If they're at 675, it really is going to depend what this rehab number comes in at. But I mean, I think if you're at 675, I mean, if you sold it at 705, that's a $30,000 margin. And it's $150,000 margin for the investor if they only spend $90 a foot, which I think you could do. You could probably do all $90 a foot. You got the rehab costs in there. So I think that all pencils and makes sense. So that's what I'm thinking. If if we put this again at, I don't know, let's call it $100 a foot. I mean, it still pencils at 705, I think. You got a 15% ROI, 705, But I would come in and offer, I would ask them, hey, if we were gonna come in, do a, non-contingent 14-day close, would you guys be willing to take 650?
Okay. I mean, I could present it and see what happens. I mean, I think even at, between 645 and 650, I definitely think it's a fair number from the 675, especially in the condition. It's not like you can get an FHA right now on it.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was like black mold in there or what was going on. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking come in, ask them, hey, if we go non-contingent 14-day close, can we wrap this up at 650?
Okay. I think that non-contingent might, solidify the deal. Just because everyone else might come in with contingencies until they walk it and all the other stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I would do right now. I'd say, hey, if that works for you, we'd like to write it up, send it over, and then, tell her, we'll write it up and send it over, and we'll have her on there to represent us. Tell her we'll put her on there to represent us as well. So then that way she's making a double commission. She's twice as motivated to go with your offer, push your offer over the other offers. So that's how you can give yourself the edge, the advantage on the deal.
Okay. So we're going to do 650 non-contingent with 3-day inspection, 14-day close, or 5-day inspection, 14-day close?
Yeah. So basically we would do, I mean, obviously we gotta get in there and walk it. So we want to go non-contingent. We want to move fast. I would say if we could go non-contingent, just tell her we're going to need a day to get in there, obviously, but we want to write it up. So just so it's straight up, you can let her know, hey, we're going to do 650 non-contingent, 14-day close, 3% deposit. But just tell her, but we do need a day to get in there with our contractor though.
Okay.
So, because, you have 3 days before the deposit's due.
True.
So, and because of the area and because of the strength of our buyers list, you could do it non-contingent. Once they accept it, you still have 3 days to wire. And obviously if you're upfront with her and say, hey, we still got to get our contractor in there, but we're going to write it up non-contingent, then at least she knows where we're at. We've got 3 days to get in there and walk it, because on the third day our deposit's due.
Okay.
That's if you want to get really aggressive with it. If you want to do like a 3-day inspection, you can do that. But it looks pretty good. If you want to get super aggressive, like I said, just say, hey, we're going to write it non-contingent. Between you and me, though, I need to let you know, we got to get in there with our contractor first, but we can do all that within our, within 3 days we can do that.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? So then that way we're good to go. We're writing it up and we're moving forward.
Okay. Then I'll work on that today and see if I can get a response back ASAP from her. And then go from there on that one.
So here's the other cool thing is we can just put a note in the post send message or team messenger. So we can put offer 650, right? 3% EMD. We can we could do non-contingent
upon inspection,
14-day close, and then subject to clean title report and seller disclosures. And then listing agent to rep us as buyer's agent as well.
Now there a couple of agents sent it to me. Of course,
okay. Then obviously you got to go with your.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it. I may just have the first agent who sent it to me represent. Just because they sent it to me first before the other 3 or 4 agents sent it to me.
Right.
But also too, I'll go based on what the agent is talking as well.
Right.
Because I saw it as well, but I first overlooked it because when I did the hard table numbers, it wasn't working out price wise. Before I even went to the system, because I was sitting in the parking lot and I was trying to run numbers.
All right.
But now that we edit what we have, it looks a little better.
Okay. Cool. So see what you can do on that.
Perfect.
All right.
I will work
cool.
on that.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, then, with that being said, I guess I'll let you go and see what else we've got here in the Q&A box.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Nice work. Thanks, William.
No problem. If you guys want to look at the real quick, if you want to look at that Avelo or Avelo one, it's in there too. If that'd be something else to do.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Just send James a message on it so he knows.
Yeah, we've been working. James and I have both been working on it. We came in at 600. She wants like 650. So we're still trying to work on a price that makes sense and get it done so we can get another one on the board.
Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.
You guys. Cheers.
All right. Thanks. All right. Bye. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go back to the Q&A box. We're going to have to wrap here in 11 minutes. So let me see. Any other questions? Per month, probably put about 160 into it, 5 to 6 months of rehab. It's a good offer, seems to me. Try it. Okay, all right. All right, so let's see. Anybody else? Any Q&A on that? So that was a good lead on William's part. It's always nice to have a couple of days of a due diligence period in there. So then that way, if you need to ask for a price reduction, you can. But also when you're in a very competitive market, it makes a huge difference to write your offer non-contingent. keeping two contingencies, clean title and seller disclosures, right? So you still have the ability to cancel if you need to. It's non-contingent as far as the physical inspection goes. You've got 3 days before the deposit's due, so your money's never at risk until, you know, that's wired in, and obviously you would need to sign this deal. You know, this isn't something you can tie up and hold on to very long. So it's a deal you got to move very quickly, but it gives him the ability to ask for the lower price to $650 because he's giving it as a non-contingent. He's still keeping himself safe and risk-free because he does have the two contingencies for clean title, seller disclosures, and then the deposit is not contractually due for 3 business days. So he still has 3 business days to market the deal, get investors to walk through there, and then assign it by the 3rd business day for somebody to wire deposit in. If for whatever reason 650 is too much, and you know, I don't know, something came up and we're going to need it, you know, I don't know, our investors need it at 650, so we got to be, you know, at 620 or 630 or 640, whatever, to make a margin, because, you know, the best price we can get 650, then obviously we can let them know, hey, listen, you know, as we told you, this was, you know, non-contingent, you know, because, you know, we're going to move quickly on it. But we did discover through our walkthrough, through our inspection, that whatever it is, whatever the case is, you know, obviously we can't wire a deposit and move forward. We would need to cancel because 650 is too much. It's not going to work. That's the bad news. However, the good news is we would be willing to wire. We would be willing to move forward. We would be willing to close, but we need to amend the price to 625. And if we can agree to do that, we're ready to wire the deposit in non-contingent. It's a done deal. So that's how you can get really aggressive on a deal. And so now he's got that, but he can save face because, you know, he's letting them know that, you know, obviously we still got to get in there and walk it, but we really want to go after it. We want to be really aggressive with it. You know, Mr. Seller, Mr. Agent. All right, guys, I think that's it. I don't have any further questions from everybody, but this was a really good show tonight. I really appreciate everybody, you know, participating, getting in here, sharing your leads, you know, hitting me with your questions. You can see how productive it can be, especially when we got a screen share here and we're looking at things live. You know, it's a great way to do deals and make money. You know, and this is just one element of it. We're just talking about wholesaling. Obviously, we're looking at it through the eyes of rehabbing it. And then once we have that established, that max rehab price, then we know that anything we offer below that creates a wholesale margin upon which we can assign the deal to an investor and make that as a straight, you know, unadulterated, unwatered down, no fees taken from it assignment fee when you do a simple assignment. So Fliplogic will help you do that. We'll help you do that, whether you want to deal partner with us and split it 50-50, or if you're just, you know, a Fliplogic member, you know, gold member on the system, and you're using our proof of funds just to back up your contracts. You're tying them up, assigning them yourselves, you know, more power to you. You know, you keep 100%. If you ever need us to fund them, you know, we'll fund them for a small fee. Or like I said, you know, William, he likes to deal partner with us because we're able to strategize like this, right? And he's going to tie that deal up. And, you know, 50% of something's better than 100% of nothing. So it really just depends on your experience level. And, you know, even for me, it's nice to be able to bounce ideas and points of view off of another mind, another experienced set of eyes, because sometimes, you know, we just miss things. So, all right. That being said, a wonderful Monday evening to you and yours. Don't pig out on Bachelor in Paradise too much. Oh my gosh. All right. I confess, I'm going to go watch Bachelor in Paradise after this. I hate it. I hate to say that, but I don't know. She got me into The Bachelorette, and now, of course, I know all the characters, and now Bachelor in Paradise is on Monday night, so I'm going to go waste an hour of my life on some junk reality TV. But Don't judge me. But I hope you all have a good evening, and I will see you all same time, same place next week. Take care.